So welcome back to Silly Point. Since we discussed in the previous video that Virat Kohli has officially stepped down as the Test captain for Team India across all formats now, we have a white ball captain already, that is Rohit Sharma. But since this is something new going on right now, we are still to figure out who will be the best choice for the Test captain for Team India, for the men in blue or the men in white, you can say. So today we have with us my friend, my colleague Satyaki,
Hello.
and we have played for a club here in Ireland together. That's Sandyford Cricket Club. And most welcome, Satyaki. Glad to have you here today.
Thanks, Aditya.
So,
Glad to be on.
so today we will be discussing about your opinions on a few questions that I have. So let's begin. Satyaki, what do you think? Who would be the best choice once Virat Kohli has gone? I have three players in mind actually. If you want to just go through them, run through those
Sure.
players. The first one is Ajinkya Rahane Jinx, who is already the vice captain of the Indian Test cricket team. He seems to be a good choice. Alternatively, the one who captained the previous match, that is the second match in South Africa, that's KL Rahul, and the guy who is injured right now, and he's also the white ball captain for Team India. That's the hitman Rohit Sharma. Who do you think? What's your opinion on this?
Those are three very interesting players. I always believe that in order to have a test captain, that person has to be a certainty in the playing 11. Um, More so in test cricket than any other format, because in T20 you can carry a passenger. In ODI, somewhere you can carry a passenger. You can see Dasun Chanaka for Sri Lanka, for example. I don't really know if he's a batsman or a bowler, but he's the captain of their white ball side, which is great because he can win you one match, but he might not play consistently over, say, 10 matches. And that works for shorter formats. For the longer format, specifically, and you would see across the countries, across the test playing nations, they would have somebody who's a certainty in the 11. And I think that is a very important question to answer before we even discuss who's going to be the captain.
Mhm.
Let's talk about the first player you proposed. That's Jinx. We all love Jinx. I mean, anybody who's picked up a cricket bat knows he's a class player. But at this point of time, with his current form, over the last 20 innings, if you see, he's not a certainty in the 11. Even so much so that he was dropped as the vice captain in the last tour, where KL Rahul was made the vice captain for Virat Kohli. So, given that context, Jinx is not in the best position. I was thinking just before our interaction today, if he had just had a good tournament or a series in South Africa, he would have been back in the reckoning to be the next,
Mhm.
India captain in red ball. That's tests. So that's. I mean, he's just at the wrong time, at the wrong place. That's it. It's not his fault. He's a class player. We all know that. I don't know how much more chances he'll get because India, as you know, is surplus with talent.
Always
Especially
competitive. Always competitive.
exactly, exactly. Hence, very difficult for Rahane to get a look in as captain, according to me at this point. The second player I'll go to is Rahul. Uh, in my opinion, he's not ready. Selectors have mentioned multiple times they want to groom him as the next leader, and I'm okay with that stance. So if they have to groom him as the next leader, they have to give him some time as the vice captain and see how he develops as a player and as an individual and as a leader. So I don't think so. It's the right time for him to step up and become the red ball captain just yet. That
Mhm.
brings us to our third and most interesting choice, which is our current white ball captain, Rohit Sharma. I think he is the best amongst what we have and the most probable. When I say best, he's the
Mhm.
best positioned. It, in my opinion, he may not be the best person to carry the test team forward for the next 5 years, but for the next 2 years, why not? I mean, he's done it for Mumbai Indians for a long time. So I think he deserves a chance to captain this team for the next 2 years.
Mhm. I definitely agree with your answer. Rohit Sharma has been like, if you see, generally it is preferred by the Team India, the head coaches and the management to have the same captain across all formats. So Rohit Sharma even meets that criteria. Apart from seeing him succeed as a captain in IPL as well, we have also seen him captain in absence of Virat Kohli, and he has done well. If you see in a way, so that's definitely not a bad choice. 100% I agree with you. Well, that was a very good answer to my question. And since you are here, I'll not let you go so easily. I have more questions for you.
Of course.
Um, so apart from these three names, of course, there are so many people in the side. Like there are 11 players who are playing matches, and then there are substitutes. Do you think anyone else apart from these three players could make it through to the captaincy?
Well, there are two interesting picks there, and we kind of discussed this briefly before. One is the current white ball vice captain, which is a very interesting pick, which is Jasprit Bumrah. He hasn't captained in his regional sides before. I was just checking his records to make sure that he hasn't. No, he hasn't. I was right, he hasn't. So they clearly see something in him. And again, Aditya, the thing that comes to the fore is he's a certainty in the white ball team. So
Hmm.
I mean, other bowlers can come and go, but Jasprit Bumrah, if he's fit, if he's available,
Fit.
he will play.
Hmm. He
And
will
and that's what
definitely.
selectors are looking for. That end of the day, that's what they're looking for. Two folks who would be in the team no matter what. And that's why Jasprit Bumrah is an interesting pick as a white ball vice captain for me. And the other guy, the dark horse in this race is Rishabh Pant. He's done a
Again, one of the yes.
exactly. Again, one of the. But for me, he's a certainty in the Test team now. I mean, if you had
Hmm.
asked me 6 to 8 months before the Australia tour, if Rishabh Pant is a certainty in the Test team, I would have said I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Dodgy. But after
Dicey.
yeah, after the Australian tour, I don't think so. There's a question mark on his position as a test wicketkeeper for India, wicketkeeper number one, so as to say. But Ridwan Shah is also there. He's a great wicketkeeper. Not discounting him at all. But I think Rishabh Pant would have been an interesting pick for the white ball vice captain. And if that would
Hmm.
have been the case, I would have been more hopeful of his chances of getting, the test vice captaincy, if not the captaincy. But given the current arrangement, wherein Rahul is captaining the side and Jasprit Bumrah is the vice captain in absence of Rohit Sharma, don't see that working out for Pant. Again, I just looked at Pant's captaincy records in T20s exclusively. He's small sample size, 16 matches. He's won 9 of them, and he's lost only 6, and there's one tie or no result. So that puts his win ratio at 56, which is greater than KL Rahul's and Ajinkya Rahane's T20 captaincy records. I'm just putting T20 here because that puts everybody on the same scale.
Hmm.
Rohit Sharma has captained 156 matches in T20s and he's won 62% of them. So he's by far the most successful out of these four people. And just Bumrah, as I told you, doesn't have a captaincy record yet, right? So yeah, Pant is the dark horse. I personally would prefer Pant because he's my 5-year solution rather than a
Hmm.
2-year solution. But I think Rohit Sharma deserves his chance as well. So that's a very hard call to make.
Yes. Rishabh Pant, as you said, he's there for the long term, long run. Could be a good candidate, but he still needs, some time to be groomed as a player, as
Exactly.
a captain. He's still improving. Every match you see him, you see some new skills, you see maturity in him. So that's something really nice to see as a wicketkeeper because the only alternative we have is Vridhiman Saha at the moment. Looking for someone special to come in. I think they took KS Shrikar Bharat as well in the previous season alongside.
Yep.
We have seen him play for the RCB, well, high pressure games. But then again, he is someone who is still very young. You can't rely on him completely as of now.
Yep.
Well,
KS
that's a
Bharat
good
is
choice.
a Sorry, KS Bharat is a good prospect. Just that you mentioned KS Bharat, one small
Mhm,
point on him as well. He's a good prospect. I look forward to having him in the test team because Riddhiman Shah, as you know, is 36. So
mhm.
maybe 1 year more or a couple of years more, and then Sikar Bharat will have his turn. So
Could
best
get
of
a
luck
chance,
for him.
definitely. I'll move ahead with another question for you.
Yep.
Considering the improvement over the past few years since Kohli has become the captain, India has consistently ticked the top rankings in the ICC Test, rankings. If you say, what do you think was the reason for that, and what could change once the coach and the captain both have changed together? Rahul Dravid being very disciplined, sincere kind of a person, and a very calm, gentle kind of a person. Do you think the same would be reflected on field, or do you still think there would be some aggression that was existing for the past few years now, which has developed very well, and have produced great results?
Yep. One thing that Kohli should certainly be, given the credit for is for developing a test firing bowling squad. Because what we had were good bowlers. Before that, even under Dhoni, we had good bowlers. who had potential but never really had a subcontinental captain backing, in the sense that you always rely on your spinners to bring you back in the game, right? But right now we have 2 to 3 pacers right off the bat who can bring you back in any game under any conditions, be it some continent or away. So that's the legacy of Kohli, and that's why when we talk about overseas success, it's very important to understand what Kohli gave the Pacers is confidence. You know, the fact that they can win a match was never stated to them before this. Nobody told them before this that they can also win a match. But Kohli said, you know what, you are going to win the match for me. India went in without a spinner in some cases in England, which is
Very
absurdly,
strange.
yeah, absurd for an Indian fan who's watched cricket for more than 20 years, but absolutely thrilling as well to see 3 pacers bowling at 140. So that's his legacy. And Dravid, I think, knowing the person that Dravid is, would only continue build on that. Of course, he's a different personality. So the captain that you mentioned, the next captain would have to fit the personality. John Wright, sort of Ganguly, Ravi Shastri, Kohli, Gary Kirsten, Dhoni. All these are legends now. These pairings are legends, are stuff of legends. They've done great things for the country. Similarly, you would have to find that counterpart, and that's where I think Rohit Sharma fits in really well,
Mhm.
because he's equally cool, calm, and collected as Dravid. Talking about aggression, I I think Kohli is still there. We may think that he's not there as captain. He's still there. No, he's still there. I'm sure he's still there as a player. I would be well. We'll see how that goes, but I'm
Wait
sure
for
at
it.
least, yeah. But I'm sure he's going to be there in the next few years at least, and the aggression will still be there because it's the players who carry the aggression of the captain forward. He's still going to be vocal in the field. I hope he is, for Indian cricket's sake, and knowing Kohli a little bit, in the sense that you've seen him on TV, you've seen his interviews, his intensity till the last day he plays cricket should remain. What Kohli brings to the ground, I he will continue to bring to the ground. I mean, he has played with that intensity since day one. Even before he was captain, he was intense, and that continued, and that kind of brushed off to the rest when he became captain. So here's me hoping and praying as an Indian cricket fan, and as a cricket fan, as a Test cricket fan, that aggression remains with him whenever he's on the ground, even though he's not the captain. Right? I know that you mentioned Dravid and his calmness and his influence, but I know. I mean, Dravid is smart enough to know that you need that aggression. He had Ganguly. Dravid, as a
Mhm.
vice captain, had Ganguly in his team, who was aggressive on the ground. And you see how the team had responded to him in overseas conditions when they were down. So I think Dravid is smart enough to be like, Kohli, you be yourself, and Rohit Sharma will do his thing on the side.
Mhm. So in a way, you want to say, let Kohli be there, let him be aggressive, let him be himself, give him his freedom. Don't put him under the pressure of captaincy anymore. Let him be the player he was before he was the captain, because he used to score runs for India like crazy, and we absolutely love him hands
We
down.
do, yeah, we do.
Yeah. So yes, of course, we want to see some good runs coming in from some lovely innings from Kohli. We haven't seen it for a while, so maybe releasing the pressure of him could help.
Yeah, and I
And
think he himself kind of took a call on it. He said that,
mhm,
what, I've won everywhere except for South Africa, and South Africa series is not there in the next 2 years. So there's no point, holding on to this position. I've set
right.
up a team, and I've done my bit. I am tired. Now I want my freedom back to enjoy my cricket, and I think that's the
Mhm.
best thing that he has done in his statement, saying, "Hey, I want to give everything that I have to Indian cricket, and I think the best I can do right now is give up captaincy and just focus on taking
On
Indian cricket
skills.
forward."
Yeah, very true. So that's about Virat Kohli. That's about Dravid. Well, I had a very controversial kind of a question now, if you don't mind answering.
Sure, sure, go ahead.
Um, all right, so I'll shoot that. Virat Kohli. He, see, we all know what happened with him after the T20 captaincy resignation and the BCCI. I'll not repeat that again, but we all know it. Okay, so I just wanted to reckon that. After that, now he leaves the captaincy from the Test cricket as well. Eventually, we all know he hasn't performed to his standards for quite a while now. And the Indian middle order has collapsed because the three top players. I'm only talking about tests right
Yeah,
now.
of
The
course.
top three players, that's number three, four, and five, haven't performed. Like, well, it would be very bad to say that, but they haven't performed since quite a long time now. Do you think a major middle order change, like all the three players being switched now that the captain has stepped down by himself, or do you see him like I definitely want to see him, but I just want to know your opinion. What do you think?
Uh, the three switch will not happen. I mean, I know that there's a lot of speculation, even in media, in mainstream media. There's a lot of speculation about the BCCI president and relationship and everything. But I don't think so. The three switch will happen. You might what you might see in the Sri Lanka series that's coming up. That's a home series. Is you might see a Shreyas Iyer and a Hanuma Vihari get a lot more chances, and that's only fair
Mm-hmm.
because at some point you have to look forward, and the Indian management might say that's enough. Thank you for your services. It's time for you to come back to the bench for Pujara and for Rahane. For Kohli, on the other hand, he's been scoring 30s, 40s, scratchy 30, 40s, a 50 here and there. He's not been woefully out of form, and by what I mean by woefully out of form is he hasn't looked clueless.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in some of the innings that Rahane and Pujara have played in between, they have looked clueless. Kohli has looked good all the while without getting the volume of runs. And of course, if he doesn't perform for the next, foreseeable while, there might be discussions. But at this stage, I do not think a three switch is happening.
Three switch is definitely a big thing. And that's not so easy for
Yeah.
anyone, even the management or the coach or anyone. Like there would be so like deep controversies going on if that happens. But that shouldn't happen for the sake of Indian cricket and the Indian cricket fans like us. So I definitely believe that it could be a chance that Rahane and Pujara get replaced, but there are also rumors that there would be an opener Shubman Gill coming in. So let's see what are the chances of the other two playing. KL Rahul and Rohit have been brilliant opening for
Mm,
the Indian team, of course, but even Shubman Gill and Prithvi Shaw are good candidates. So if there needs to be some replacements, we have backups everywhere, and that's how hard it is to get into the playing 11 of Indian team. One
that's
point 1.4 billion people, and you have to be in the top 11 for fuck's
yep.
sake.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. Everybody's struggling to get to the top 15 and then the 11. One interesting fact when we're talking about test match captains, longest serving test match captains have been opening batsmen, but the most
Hmm.
successful ones have been middle order batsmen. So that's something that India needs to look at. Do they want a long captain, I mean, for the future, or do they want a successful one who's also kind of long in tenure? So because test match opening is not that easy. And Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul both are. I know India management, and knowing India management, they'll go for Rohit Sharma. Let me tell you on your podcast today that's going to be Rohit Sharma. But if they want somebody successful, they might look at a middle order batsman, somebody like a Pant
I
maybe.
just want to mention, if you are looking for a middle order batsman, why not Shreyas Iyer if he's coming in?
Well, because he's not played that long. He's hardly played a couple of test matches. Pant has played
Hmm.
over 30 test matches.
Of
So
course.
you would need to get somebody in the team first, cement his position. Let Shreyas Iyer score a couple of hundreds, even
Hmm.
more. Go and score double hundreds, and then maybe we can have this discussion in 2 years' time. And that's what exactly Indian team management will do. They'll give Rohit Sharma 2 or 3 years because he's 33, 36, done. And then they'll have Pant, Shreyas, and all of the other folks to choose from.
Hmm. That's a good pool to develop, to be honest.
Exactly.
Really happy for the team. Well, I'll leave you now, maybe. Thank you. Thank you
Thank you.
again for coming in, answering my stupid questions, and making
Lovely.
silly points with us. It's always nice to have people coming in, sharing their opinions.
Yep.
And I would like you to say, to the audience, maybe to like, share, and comment and subscribe and everything for us.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I know Aditya for a long time. He's a great guy, first of all, and secondly, he started this beautiful thing called Silly Point. We're all very excited about it because it provides everybody a platform to share and also to learn from. So please do like, comment, share, and do whatever possible to spread the word there for Silly Point. Thanks.
Thank you, Satyaki. You have been very
Cheers.
kind.
Cheers. Thanks, Aditya, for having me.
Thank
Cheers.
you.